Kingdom Hearts 3, ReMind or Final Mix? Kingdom Hearts 3 ReMind. We finally know when this huge DLC expansion for Kingdom Hearts 3 is going to release, along with its price. However, with this information, and for the longest that we knew Kingdom Hearts 3 ReMind was going to be a thing, there has been the discussion point of this being Kingdom Hearts 3 Final Mix in reality. You guys already know what I'm talking about when it comes to the Kingdom Hearts Final Mix games: Kingdom Hearts 1 Final Mix, Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix, Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep Final Mix. We were kind of assuming that Kingdom Hearts 3 will follow suit with the whole Kingdom Hearts 3 Final Mix naming convention. Instead, we got Kingdom Hearts 3 ReMind. And you know, for the longest, I was one of those people who was like, yeah, okay, Nomura, it's basically Kingdom Hearts 3 Final Mix. You can call it ReMind or whatever, but it's Kingdom Hearts 3 Final Mix. But when doing some heavy thinking on the finer points of what ReMind is compared to the Final Mix releases that came before it, it definitely is a different beast when you think about it. And today, we're gonna break that down. Hey guys, it's HMK once again with another Kingdom Hearts 3 ReMind DLC video. And we're gonna talk about and break down why Kingdom Hearts 3 ReMind is named ReMind and not Final Mix, and why they're different. For the safety of hype, I'm gonna ask you to strap on in. Let's dive directly into the darkness. As a primer, Nomura has gone on record saying that ReMind isn't particularly the Final Mix strategy and wouldn't call Kingdom Hearts 3 ReMind Final Mix, as he wanted to update the game for free over time, which, you know, includes Critical Mode and soon to be the Keyblades and abilities that we're gonna get when ReMind drops. And he wanted to do one huge paid DLC, which is ReMind in one go. He actually isn't down with the whole Season Pass model. This already tells us that he isn't too keen on us calling this Kingdom Hearts 3 Final Mix. For the most part, Final Mix games are literally the final mix of a game, adding to or enriching elements of the base game meant to be played over and over and enjoyed again aside from the vanilla version, with tweaks, new keyblades, abilities, and even updated graphical models and cleaner visuals. And we can't forget the good old palette swaps. But once again, these Final Mix re-releases are meant to be played over again, as the Final Mix version of a game adds a ton of stuff to enrich elements of the base game, hence the name of Final Mix. Although Birth by Sleep did add a post-game secret episode. And of course, Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix did add post-game content in terms of bosses such as the Lingering Will. But now we get to the whole concept of Kingdom Hearts 3 ReMind and ReMind itself. For the most part, a good chunk of the DLC, if not all of it, looks to be post-game additions, with what seems to be setting up the next game or the saga within the Kingdom Hearts franchise, with the whole ReMind scenario literally taking place after the end of the game, or I should say the initial end of the game, where Sora leaves the Keyblade graveyard using the power of waking to look for a way to rescue Kairi, as seen in the official synopsis of the ReMind scenario within the DLC, which states, determined to rescue Kairi, Sora travels to the Keyblade graveyard a short time before the final battle was to take place. Lacking a corporeal form, he traces the hearts of the 7 Guardians of Light. Through experiencing their personal battles firsthand, Sora is about to discover truths that he has never before imagined. This is further clarified within the press release, which states, for players who have completed Kingdom Hearts 3, the ReMind DLC provides a new playable episode as Sora adventures to make his way back to his friends and discover truths he has never before imagined. So unlike the final mixes of the previous games, Kingdom Hearts 3 ReMind seems to focus primarily on post-game content, rather than playing the whole game over again in order to pick up on subtle things that they added through the DLC or the re-release. In terms of a Final Mix game, ReMind is focusing on what happens afterwards. Nomura goes on to say a couple more things on record that makes Kingdom Hearts 3 ReMind a lot different from Final Mix. The first of which is that apparently a good portion of the Kingdom Hearts 3 ReMind DLC, if not the entirety of it, when it comes to the new scenarios, can be enjoyed independently of the main game once you clear the story. This is obviously true for the ReMind scenario, but Nomura also refers to this when talking about playing as other characters within the DLC, such as Riku, Aqua, and Roxas. Nomura states, during the main story, in the same way players were able to choose to play as Riku and Aqua, Roxas can also be chosen and you will be able to continue through additional scenarios. As you progress, there is a segment where you're able to choose the character you want to play as. The additional scenarios themselves are independent of this. This content you'll be able to enjoy once you've cleared the story. So once again, this seems to be a clear contrast to the concept of Final Mix when we're talking about ReMind, as ReMind is geared towards playing a separate portion of the game outside the main story once you get the DLC, which leads into the next point that Nomura states. When talking about the volume of the DLC, which a lot of people are talking about when it comes to the price and how much they're gonna get, are they getting their bang for their buck? Nomura touches upon this in two different ways. The first is talking about the Luxord Xigbar conversation, which apparently takes place at the beginning of this additional scenario. And apparently, the contents when it comes to cutscenes this time around for ReMind was rewritten twice, and its volume was considerably increased in the final draft, so it became denser than expected. And when talking about the Limit Cut episode in comparison to the entirety of the DLC, he states it has plenty of surprises. The additional scenario as a whole contains the Limit Cut episode and bosses among others, along with a secret episode and boss. For a DLC, it is a self-sufficient volume. And after seeing the final trailer for Kingdom Hearts 3 ReMind, I believe him wholeheartedly now. Of course, when he says self-sufficient, it's self-sustainable, as this DLC can be enjoyed to the fullest on its own, without particularly needing to be combined entirely with the base game, as apparently it has enough content in order to stand on its own, which I feel is the biggest contrast between the concept of ReMind and the concept of Final Mix, as everything within a Final Mix release of a particular Kingdom Hearts game had to be integrated into the base game in order to be enjoyed to the fullest, as you would have to play the entirety of the game again in order to enjoy what was added. However, with the concept of ReMind, you can take everything that would be added in this DLC and leave it on its own and can be enjoyed on its own and can stand on its own. Although you'll be missing context, as this content is supposed to be enjoyed after completing the main story. So it really makes me wonder that what we're gonna get in Kingdom Hearts 3 ReMind will be a lot more than we ever got in any other Final Mix before this. And for $30 without needing to buy the whole game over again, I'm down for that. And remember, within the Kingdom Hearts 3 ReMind DLC, we're getting the additional story, ReMind, which is post-game, a Limit Cut episode, and 13 boss battles, which are the data battles, the secret episode and boss battle, data greeting feature, slideshow feature, premium menu, along with the free additions, which include the main story update, which is still super mysterious, new abilities, and the Keyblade's Oathkeeper and Oblivion. While a good chunk of Kingdom Hearts 3 ReMind DLC is going to be independent or accessed independently from the main story, it's still unknown if we can unlock anything through the DLC, which could go into the main story. For now, the premium menu, which includes Fast Pass mode and Black Code mode, seems to be the biggest thing we can tinker with when it comes to the main story. So when you ask yourself, what is the biggest difference between Kingdom Hearts 3 ReMind and Final Mix, and why didn't Nomura just name the DLC Kingdom Hearts 3 Final Mix? Well, that's because thanks to all of the information that we have on Kingdom Hearts 3 ReMind DLC, is that it will take place mostly and is meant to be enjoyed post-game. So for those who have the game but haven't beaten it, I would get on top of that, especially if you haven't done it in critical mode yet. We still have a little more of a month before the release of Kingdom Hearts 3 ReMind DLC, and I'm super excited for this. Personally, my favorite aspect of the DLC that is coming is playing as my boy Roxas. I mean, you guys already know. Of course, seeing Yozora at the end of the final trailer, that was too sweet, but I really like the fact that we're gonna be able to play as other characters, literally what seems to be everyone if they decide to throw in all of the Guardians of Light, because, you know, Nomura did say you'll be able to choose your character. We already got the confirmations of Roxas, Riku, Aqua, and Kairi, but for me, my target is set on Roxas, and honestly, that's something that Final Mix has never offered. But I want to know what you guys think when it comes to your favorite upcoming aspect of Kingdom Hearts 3 ReMind, and if you're down with calling it ReMind, would you rather call it Final Mix, would you rather call it ReMind? I want to learn all of that in the comment section below. And while you're at it, please like, share, favorite, and most importantly subscribe to HMK. I post new Kingdom Hearts 3 content every week. And you know I've got a ton to work on when it comes to theories, because you know Yozora at the end of that trailer. Let's go. Once again, big thanks to my Patreon supporters for help making this video happen. If you want to find out how you can support HMK for just $1 a month, please consider checking out my Patreon page. Alright guys, so until the next Kingdom Hearts 3 DLC video, this has been HMK. And as always, I will check you guys later.
So you haven't subscribed to HMK yet? Don't piss Xemnas off.